Hey YouTube, it's literally been like, I kid you not, 2 years since I recorded a video, and I just wanted to come back. I'm probably gonna do 2 videos real quick. Um, so I have graduated nursing school. I graduated, okay, so our session ended at the end of April. April 23rd was our last day of class. And then graduation was June 15th. And I have taken NCLEX, and I have also started my new job. So I'm gonna talk about that. But I'm just gonna talk about my NCLEX experience first. Then I'll talk about my new job in another video. So, basically, I'll just give you guys the rundown on everything. So, the reason why our graduation is so spaced out from the time that we finish is because we are given we take the ATI exit exam at the end of our capstone class, and our benchmark is a 72%, which basically says that you are like 94%, like you have a 94% chance of passing NCLEX the first time. So if you don't pass the exit exam the first time, then you have to do like 6 weeks of remediation, retake it, and yeah. So that's why our graduation is so spaced out, because it gives like those individuals the 6-week remediation time period, which your girl had to do the 6 weeks. So I scored a 71.3 on my exit exam, which basically meant that I missed it by 1 question. That was so like devastating, and basically all it does is it keeps us from getting conferred with the rest of our class, and we can't take NCLEX like the same time everybody else does, which I mean, nobody takes NCLEX at the same time, but you know. So we had to go through like the 6-week remediation. We still like worked with our online coach for ATI. We worked with somebody on campus, and then we retook it, yada yada yada. So we wouldn't get conferred until like the end of the new session, because we would finish in the end of the new session, if that makes sense. So I did the 6 weeks. I still got to graduate with my class, like that doesn't change. I got to walk on my class and everything. And so so that new session that we finished in ended like at the end of June. And so it normally takes like a week to get conferred, and there was 6 of us that had to retake, and it took them 3 weeks to confer us. Mind you, like a couple of us already had jobs lined up, and our jobs are just like, you know, are you gonna test in time, like me? So my job started July 22nd, and I had to test by July 19th. Yeah, everything had to be submitted July 19th by noon. So I was literally like down to the very end. So we ended up getting conferred that Monday, July 15th. We got conferred. And I know I had a classmate who her job was supposed to start July 15th, and then she didn't test like that Friday before. She basically lost her whole residency, and she was gonna have to like find another one. My job, thankfully, that if I didn't test in time, I still got to keep my job. They would just push me to start with the next group of residents, which wouldn't be till October, and I was not having it. Like I couldn't fathom having to wait 2.5 extra months just to work. So we literally got conferred July 15th. I got my ATT to schedule my test July 16th, and I was going on vacation on the 18th through the 21st. So I literally had to test on or by the 18th before we left. Like our flight was planned to leave at like 3:30 that afternoon. So when I scrambled to look for test dates, of course, because like with Pearson Testing Center, it's not just people taking NCLEX, it's people taking all state license board exams. So you may get a test date, you may not, and I was pushing it, but thankfully there was a test date for that Thursday, the 18th, at 8 a.m. And the only thing was, it was like 2 hours away, but where it was perfectly fine because my aunt and my uncle lived there. So I just went down the day before and spent the night with them, so I didn't have to like drive the next morning. So my mom rescheduled my flight, so I left like that evening instead. So I didn't have to like rush to finish my test, drive 2 hours back to get to the airport to try to meet them. So yeah. So to break down NCLEX, I used UWorld to study. And I also used the Mark Clemick audios, which his audios were really helpful. I didn't listen to all of them. I mostly listened to the prioritization delegation audio. Like I listened to that like at least 3 times. I know I did it like the day before riding like to my aunt and uncle's house. I listened to it because it was a 2-hour drive, 2-hour lecture. He's very, very helpful. He gave like a lot of helpful tips, ways to remember things, how to look at like the scenarios. I loved it. UWorld, I loved UWorld. I recommend UWorld. I tried to use my Saunders book a little bit, but it was just honestly too much. Like I'm the type of person that when I study, I need like questions, practice questions. I can't read a book and study, like it just doesn't help. So I highly recommend UWorld. At first I just did it where I did like just random questions all together. The max that you can do for one test is like 75. I think I only did 175 exam for real. I broke it down. Like I would try to do 50 to 100 questions a day, but I couldn't do it all in like one sitting. I just broke it down and did like 10 questions here, 15 questions here, 20 questions here, 25 questions here. Like I broke it down like that because studying for NCLEX already is a hot mess, especially like once you've been out of school and you're just like sick of studying. Like yeah, it was a lot, and especially like for everything I had already been through, them 6 extra weeks, and then on top of that still had to study for NCLEX. Like it was just too much. Like I was exhausted. And then I went through and I broke it down by systems because it had like each system, like adult health, child health, maternal, all that, and then it broke it down by like each body system, like cardiovascular, hematology, etc., etc. So I would break it down and go through like each system or whatever. Mind you, UWorld gives you like over 2,000 questions when I finished, because I literally used it until the day that it expired. Like it expired that Tuesday that I got my ACC, so I used it like all that day. So when I ended with like 300 and something questions left, I think. So I didn't use all my questions, but I did majority of them. And I had both of the assessments that it came with. I got that package. And I scored a high chance of passing on both. So the day of my NCLEX, I got up, ate some cereal and like a banana at my aunt's house before I left. Drove to the testing center. Everything, you know, you go in, you get checked in, they do your fingerprint, take a picture. They give you a locker to put your stuff in because you can't take anything in. Then they, you know, kind of like TSA you, wave you down and stuff, make sure you don't have anything in your hair. My hair was like this, so I had to like lift up my ponytail and all that other stuff. And so I was actually the only person taking NCLEX that day, but there was other people there. They were taking like other exams. So I was really calm and positive like the entire process going into NCLEX. Even before NCLEX, you know, I was just telling myself like, you are a nurse, like you are, you know, this test doesn't define you, you know, you're gonna go in, you're gonna beat this test, like you got this, like you're not leaving there until you have a license after your name. You know, if you get 75 questions, cool. If you get all 265, cool. If you get somewhere in between, cool. But the goal is to leave there with a license number. So that was my mindset, and I prayed and I was just calm. So like I literally, like how everybody's like, oh, their nerves are so bad, and I literally had no anxiety or anything. Like I wasn't nervous at all. I was just like, okay, it's time to take this test. I mean, granted I had like a little bit of nerves, but that was just normal. But like it was nothing like overly normal. So I went in and took my test. I turned my question counter off. I turned my timer off. Even though I really didn't look at it. I can say that UWorld does really prepare you because the actual test looks exactly like UWorld. Like the whole layout, everything. So that kind of makes you feel better. So you go in, you do like these little demo questions just to kind of like show you how to use the interface or whatever, and then your test starts. So I don't know, like I didn't know what to expect, but all my friends had taken it and passed, and they were just like, it's real basic, it's real general. UWorld is basic and general too, but UWorld also can get kind of hard and get kind of specific, and NCLEX is not like that. Like NCLEX was literally just so general, and it was like you can kind of tell the really easy questions, and then you kind of tell the hard questions, and then sometimes to me personally, like my test wasn't hard, my test wasn't easy, it was just tricky. Like when you narrowed it down to your top 2 answers of what could be correct or what you feel is correct, and you got to pick between the two, that's where it got tricky for me. But other than that, like it was okay. Like I was like, okay. So I went through, whatever. It was just answer my questions. I think I started with the select all that apply, and then kept going between select multiple choice. I got a lot of the little drag drops. I didn't have any med calc. I didn't have any hotspot or any audio questions. I had a lot of drag drops, and I did not have a whole lot of select all that apply. I got like maybe 15 to 20, but it wasn't that many, which I wasn't surprised. I mean, I was kind of surprised, but it didn't bother me. So as I'm testing, my question counter is off, but I would look at it every now and then just so I could like figure out if I want to take a break or whatever. So when I got to 70, I turned it back on, and I was like, okay, we got 5 questions, let's just see what happens. So I did it, and I wasn't really like tripping. Like if I didn't stop at 75, like I wasn't gonna freak out. I was just like, okay. So I didn't stop at 75, and it got to 76. I said, okay, that's fine. You still in the game. Let's keep going. So I kept going, and then it asked me, did I want to take a break? And I don't remember like what question I was on. I don't even know. I may have hit question 100 by then, but I wasn't sure. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a break. I went to the bathroom, everything, and I looked in the mirror and I prayed, and I was like, Lord, look, we not leaving here until we have a license after our name. Because I am competent. I'm 95% competent of being a safe nurse, and we just finna thug it out. So I went back to my test, kept going. Like, when you take your breaks, like it pauses your test, but your time still runs. And the picture that you take pops up on the screen. Like, and y'all, my picture was ugly because they made me take my glasses off, and I didn't know when she took the picture, so I didn't smile. I looked like a whole mugshot. But when you come out to take your break, the person's gonna like scan your handprint and all the other stuff, and then when you come back, they do the same thing, scan handprint. I had to take my glasses off, put them on this little spinny thing. It was a lot, and I just didn't understand. So when I came back, shortly after, it asked me, did I want to take another break? Because you get 2 embedded breaks, but you can take as many breaks as you need. I think you get like a break at like 2 hours, and then a break at like 3. But I had already like literally just came from my other breaks. I was just like, no, I'm not taking a break. I'm just gonna sit here and sit it out. So then I got to like 100. I was like, all right, cool. You still in the game. You're still in the game. Let's keep going. Got to 150. I was like, all right, we about to be here all day. Let's go. Mind you, I don't know what time it is. I don't know anything. So, but I wasn't tired. I was just like, all right, we get more questions. We still in the game. Like, we still got a chance to prove ourselves. Like, it's okay. So I took all 256 questions. No, I lied. 265 questions. Excuse me. All 265 questions. And I took it in 5 hours. I finished at like 1. And like when I left, like a lot of people like, oh, they walk out, they feel like, oh my God, I failed. When I left, I was just like, oh, that was it? Okay. We can do that. Like, all right, we good. Like, that's fine. Okay. So I didn't feel any type of way. I was just numb. Like, I didn't feel like I failed. I didn't feel like I passed. Like, I was just numb. So I was like, all right, that's it. It's over. So, I got in the car, drove back. Well, I stopped and got gas and everything, drove back. And so my friends, they kept texting me, and they were just like, do the Pearson trick. I didn't really want to do the Pearson view trick because I was really just going to go catch my flight and check the board the next morning. So, but my recruiter also had emailed me and she was like, I know you just took NCLEX today, but do you know anything? So I did the trick while I was sitting at the gas station because I got the email from Pearson, you know, saying like, you know, your test is done. Here's what to do next, etc., etc. So I did the Pearson recheck. I was scared, but I got the good pop up. So, and then I did it again when I got to the airport because I was just like, I don't know. But I was excited. I was like, okay, you know, nurse kind of ease. Like, all right, I think I might be a nurse after this. Okay. And then the next morning, like around like 9:30, my name popped up on the board of nursing with my license number, and y'all, I was so excited. Like, and I was gone for for a family reunion, so my whole family was asking, so I was telling them I passed, and everybody was just so happy. And my mom's a nurse too, so they were just like, "Oh, we know you're excited because you don't have to, you know, give her any more money and da da da." And I'm just like, "Yo, I'm a whole nurse," and it just didn't feel real. But I was excited to know, like, when I got back, you know, my new journey was starting, and I was like, that was nobody but God, because literally there were no available test dates that week that I needed. They were either like a Friday or Saturday or that following week, and there was only that one that was there for that Thursday, and it was just that one spot open, and I was just like, that was nobody but God, and I was so thankful. But your girl is now a registered nurse. I have been a nurse now for 3 weeks, but I've been working for 2 weeks now. This starts the third week. So that was my NCLEX journey, my NCLEX story. It was kind of brief, but if you have any questions, leave comments below. I don't mind answering questions at all. And then I'll be back with another video literally right after this to talk about like my new job and everything. So bye guys.